Welcome to today's short webinar. Today we're looking at some of the new features in TD Snap, and we'll talk about the name change and some of the new additions and changes and why it's changed the name to TD Snap and the AAC software. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Conor Quigley. I've been in Safecare now a couple of years. We like to call the company a technology company that works with people with disabilities, i.e. any technology out there that may help a person with a disability. We tend to have a look at it, or we may supply it. So in terms of, I suppose, things are opening up a little bit now. With the restrictions are lifting in some areas. So just to let you know that we're back out meeting people. We're doing assessments, training sessions. Again, we can do things remotely if that's more comfortable with you. If you prefer to do trainings or assessments remotely, we're still we can still actively do that. Where our loan equipment is still being sent out. So basically, you'll be able to get as much of the services from ourselves as possible. If you're not familiar with some of the products we work with, here are some of the brands: Tobii Dynabox, which TD Snap we're talking about today. We have environmental control products from BJ Live and Aphasia, mounting solutions from Radapt, and then some assistive technology solutions from AbleNet and Praetorian. And we also do sensory rooms from BJ Live as well. So, but today, we're talking about TD Snap, which is an AAC software from Tobii Dynabox. If you were familiar with it in the past, you may know it as SnapCore First. You may recognize its logo if you have the software already, if you've used it in the past, if you've attended one of our training sessions. Recently, this has been rebranded as TD Snap. So it has a new logo and it's got a new name. So again, these things can cause confusion. So we were getting a lot of questions and emails saying, what's this new software, TD Snap? And so we just wanted to kind of do some webinars and put some information out there that it's mainly a rebranding from of what you may know as SnapCore First. The reason why they've rebranded and renamed it is, as we've talked about just previously, that many of you may know it as SnapCore First. The software itself came out originally as a core learning AAC software. So it was a symbol-based software that was built around the core framework with the Fitzgerald key, and it was teaching our users to use core language. So symbol-based users that were using the core language package was the AAC software. But since then, there's been a lot of additions to the software. They've added a text-based page set. So for users who may be literate or may doesn't use symbols. This again, I'll show you these in a little bit more detail shortly. Again, phrases, keyboards, quickfire. So maybe people that don't need as much support as a core first learning program use the text-based page set. And again, since then, they've brought out an aphasia page set. So the aphasia page set obviously is designed for people with aphasia or brain and stroke injury, and how they communicate and how the framework is set up a little differently for how they communicate. So there are three of the main page sets that are included with TD Snap now. So the SnapCore First was actually causing a bit confusion. People weren't aware that there was a text-based option within it and an aphasia-based option within it as well. There's also been the addition of two extra page sets, which are the gateway page set and the pod page set. So again, if you were using software that uses the gateway page set, this now can integrate with TD Snap. And if you're a pod user, you can also use TD Snap to activate your pod, access your pod communication pages as well. So these are now within TD Snap. Gateway and pod, I will say, are you have to pay for them extra, whereas the aphasia and the text-based page set are included along with the core first. So there's in total now we have 5 page sets included within TD Snap. There's new integrations. So if you're a BoardMaker user, you can now link it directly to your TD Snap software. So for the end user themselves, they don't have to jump between different softwares. They can bring all the resources that they're working on, maybe in school, and use it through TD Snap, and they can use it within the same layout, so they're not getting confused on different softwares. And if they're used to navigating within TD Snap, they can now use their BoardMaker activities. So if you're a school and you've created activities, you can send it directly to to their device, and they can use they can access those activities within TD Snap. And Google, this was a big integration. TD Snap was the first AEC software that have worked directly with Google for Google Assistant integration inbuilt into TD Snap. So that's a really, really powerful tool that is now built into TD Snap. I will show you all of this shortly, so bear with me. I'll show you how Google works. There's new features. There's lots of new features have come out in TD Snap in the last kind of 12 months or so. There's a new, easier setup. So if you got new users, it's much easier to set it up now. There's a print function, so you can print any page on TD Snap. So if you wanted to use low-tech resources which are high-tech, you can print out the page from your software and use it, laminate it, and use it as a a communication page or a communication book. You've got more languages, got more voices, more symbols. New scanning features, so for switch scanners it's become a lot easier to use. There's better eye gaze functionality, so again there's been new eye trackers have been brought out that it works better with those. You've got access to things like computer control software, etc. We've new editing tools that allows you to do more, maybe with high contrast, changing colors, changing sizes of the buttons. So there's lots of new editing tools, and there's new resources. So some of these new resources come in the form of new training cards and materials. New kind of assessment resources are available. There's the Pathways app, which is free to use, that you can use in accompaniment with your TD Snap. And then you have online videos from ourselves or from Toby Dynabox. There's lots and lots of new materials there for you to access to get as much and as most out of TD Snap as you can. So what does all this look like? I'm sure you don't want to be watching me going through a PowerPoint for the length of this, so I'll show you some of what this looks like. So I'll come out of this for a second, and I'll open up TD Snap. So again, if you're used to the core first page, the layout is pretty much the same. And as you can see, we have our core words where we can create our sentences. We have our quick fires with our pre-programmed phrases and words. Our topic-based conversation. So if we want to, and they're adding new topics constantly. So I know there was one added about a football match recently. There was ones added about COVID. So you'll find those on all your updates. You'll find new topics and new language and vocabulary coming into the system. In the dashboard, you have the integrations like Google. Again, I'll show you this shortly, and things like Boardmaker will link in here as well. But I'm not going to focus too much on how the software works. You can come back to us if you want a full training on TD Snap. We'll show you how the software works. This is more, we wanted to show you the new features. The new page sets. I can go into page set here, and I'll go to the text-based page set. So you can see this is remarkably different from the core first page set.
I need help. Thank you.
Again, you don't have a core page to start with. You have phrases. Again, if you think of somebody that may have maybe literate, they just want to get out quick phrases, they can be categorized into different categories. Obviously, you can, if you've got a degenerative disease and you wanted a message bank, your phrases, they would come in here as well. So you can bring through all your own phrases in your own voice. And then obviously you have a keyboard with predictive word for quick typing as well. You can take your notes, and you have your dashboard as well for things like Google Assistant and smart speakers and accessing your phone and environmental control and things like that. So that's the text-based page set. And then the Aphasia page set, which again you will see looks very different. Again, people with aphasia communicate in a different way. They may do a lot of word searching. Instead of trying to put sentences together, they may try and finish their sentence by searching for a word. So they may just be looking for that word to finish a sentence. You have your quick fires, again, where you have quick pre-programmed phrases. You have a whiteboard. Again, this is a feature that is very useful for somebody with aphasia. They might be they might, scribble down what they're trying to say with their finger, or if they're using a stylus or something like that. And then in topics, similar to the other page sets, we can have our topics and set out with just our phrases set out like this, or we can have visual scenes where, again, sometimes someone with aphasia may be confused and they mightn't these symbols mightn't be enough, so we might use a big picture in the middle of the visual scene to give an indication what we're talking about. Again, we have our keyboard. We have things like rating scales built in, which again are very useful for people with aphasia. And there's also photo albums, again, are very popular for people with aphasia, where they can talk about a photo and create their photo albums and use them to talk about things. All the features are cross-transferable, so if I wanted to use the photo album in Core First or in the text page set, I can do that also. It's just in the way that they're set up. This is set up in the Aphasia page set. So it's very easy to kind of move between different page sets. If you're a therapist and you're working with different clients and you wanted to have these page sets ready to go for the different types of users you're working with, you can have as many of these as you want set up. Again, there's the pod page sets. So again, if you're familiar with pod, you can use these page sets. A lot of people use pod on low tech resources. You might want to use it as a high tech resource using in PD Snap as well. So all them, as I said, pod is a paid extra, but it is available for you to use if you wanted to, and add to your system. So other features that I kind of briefly mentioned earlier were things like the Google Assistant. So as I said, a lot of our users may use their communication software to use with, say, an Amazon speaker or a Google speaker. So you would have your Google speaker or your Amazon speaker in the room. You would create a button that would say, Alexa, what time is it? Or Google, what's the weather like in Cork? But with this integration, Google is actually built into the software. So you don't actually need that separate speaker. You don't have to have the Google Home in the room. You don't have to have an Amazon speaker. It's inbuilt into the software. So, for example, there are some default buttons set up. When I press them...
What is the capital of Italy?
Rome is the capital of Italy.
The software gives you, Google speaks back to you. So it's inbuilt into the software. So you don't have to have that speaker with you. So again,
What time is it?
It's 1:24 p.m.
Okay.
Will it rain today?
It's likely. Tonight in Cork, there's a good chance of scattered rain starting around 6 p.m. and continuing through the night.
So again, yeah, and of course there's going to be rain. But you can type in whatever buttons you want here, and then Google will speak back. So we've had a lot of feedback from how people are using this. Obviously, you have your default, what time it is, what's the weather like. You've got fun things, tell me a joke if you're working with kids. But we've heard of users, kind of using it for a lot of very functional things. Like, for example, maybe more independent users that want, what time is bus to Dublin? Once I have this button programmed in,
I'm not sure, but I found something for what time is Dublin bus? Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, and so, right, I should have typed in somewhere a bit more specific, but if you wanted, so where you could use that in a situation is that, so if I am, I could put in my home bus route or whatever it is, and no matter where I am in Ireland or whatever, and I press that button, it'll show me how to get home. Other examples we've heard of people using it is, for example, you could put down where is the nearest Italian restaurant, and then the family could be out for dinner, and maybe the person using their AAC software, we ask them, hey, where do you want to go for dinner? And they know that we really like Italian food, and they press that button, where's the nearest Italian restaurant, and that brings them to the Italian restaurant, and therefore that user gets a sense of independence. They got to choose what they were doing for the day. And so it's really, really powerful, having Google built into the software. And as I said, you don't need any other hardware. It's inbuilt into the software. So again, if I go to the symbol-based user, and I go to dashboard, and I go to Google Assistant, again, it's the same thing. I can go into fun stuff.
Bark like a dog.
This is a dog.
And so on and so forth. So if we can just get them to stop barking like a dog. So again, you can use it across all different page sets. You can use it for different reasons or different things you want to achieve with the user. You can use it for fun stuff. You can use it for cause and effect. You can use it for general knowledge. You can use it for education. You know, you've got the power of Google built into your AAC software. So it's a really powerful tool. So that's one of the main integrations. One of the other things that I wanted to show you, some of maybe the new features are when you're setting up a new user, how much easier it is now. So again, this is the page you're brought into. Is it a new user, an existing user? If it's an existing user, obviously you can bring through all your existing page sets, etc., and your edits. So if I say the user is Connor, it just starts to ask you these kind of really simple questions. Which of the following best describes Connor? Do I need text with symbol support? Do I need text only? Or do I have aphasia? So I'm going to go with text. Then it asks, you know, how am I going to use this software? Am I going to use it by touching it? Am I going to use an eye gaze system? And am I going to use scanning? So I'm going to use touch. And I'm going to select a page set. So as I said, look, Core First is included. You do have to pay for Pod or Gateway. I have Pod included here, so I don't have a little shopping cart, but if you did, it would show up. And then I'm just going to pick it, and then I can pick whatever voice I want. So there's lots and lots of new voices here, so you can go through them and see which one suits. So I'll go with Peter, and there's different, obviously you can see by the flags, the different countries and accents they may have. If you want female, male, child, teen, adult, it'll filter it that way. Choose what size, how many buttons I want on the page. So they give you kind of the most common ones up here, but if I wanted to see all of them, you know, I can see the different page sets. So go 6 by 6, we'll say. And I'm done, and that's it. And it's really simple to set up a new user. And off I go, and I can start from there. So again, other features we spoke about are things like if I wanted to print a page, I can just click on the page and a little print icon comes up here. So everything on this page, I can print it out and then use it as a low tech. If you do have the software, you'll notice this little light bulb is a new feature. What that does is it kind of tells you every time you do an update, that light bulb will tell you what has happened, what are these new features that have happened, what are the new things they've added. So at least you know then, you know, because I know with software is now you open up and it tells you to do an update and tells you to do an update. So at least this light bulb will tell you what you've updated for. So you can see in the latest version, it's now called TD Snap. They've redesigned some of the pages. They've added the COVID-19 word list. It's now available in German and UK English, and then they've added the China symbol in the PCS countries. So there's lots of new symbols gone in for Chinese users. So so that'll always kind of keep you up to date on what these new features are, and you can always check in with ourselves or on our website as well. So so they're kind of, let me see where the PowerPoint was. So how do you get started? You're looking at the wrong way, so I'll swap. So yeah. So now, how do you get started using TD Snap? So for you kind of wondering where you get it, it's available on iPads or Windows devices. So the first thing you can do is if you go on mytobydynavox.com, you can start a 30-day free trial. So you can start it on your iPad or you can start it on your computer. We'll send you all the links of how to do this after, so don't worry about of trying to look it up now. You can book a free assessment with ourselves. So if you're a therapist and you have someone in mind that you think TD Snap might be appropriate for, you can go on our website and book an assessment with us. One of us will come out and, you know, walk you through the software, work with the user there, and you can decide whether it's an applicable way forward for them. You can book a free loan device. So if you want to try the hardware as well, we'll send you out a device with software on it, and you can try that with your user. You can book free online training sessions or an in-house workshop. So we're happy if you want. As I said, today is more of just sort of an overview. If you want kind of in-depth, how do you use this software, book a training session with us, and we'll happily take you through all the features and how you edit and how you do everything. Or if you're a team, we can do it online, or we can come to your center and we'll train you up on how to use TD Snap. If you're a speech and language therapist or a teacher or occupational therapist, there is a program called TD for Professionals. Again, we'll send you this information after the webinar. You'll get a free copy of TD Snap, so you can have it on your own iPad, the full version of it permanently, and then you can use that for assessments or for training or for working it through. You'll also get Communicator 5 as well, so you get the kind of Tobii Dynavox suite of softwares as well. And you get with the TD for Professionals, and Michael may have to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but last I heard you do get Pod and Gateway included, so they're not a paid extra for Professionals. So if you are working with someone that uses Pod or Gateway as a professional, you will get them for free to work with them. We'll send you all the links on how to do that. One other thing actually I wanted to show you was some of the resources that we have, just to kind of let you know. So if you go to our website on safecaretechnologies.com, and you can obviously go in and look at the products, in the product section you'll find TD Snap under communication, but our support section, if you kind of hover over that, there's two options here. You can go into the support section or AAC for Professionals. So if I go to the support section, in here we kind of have all those resources I spoke about earlier. So it's under software support, and click on TD Snap. So it's broken into the core first, the text, and the aphasia. So for example, if I go into aphasia resources, we can see we have implementation resources, we have communication and activity guide for aphasia, aphasia topic industry, interest inventory. We have the training cards. So for example, if I click on the training cards, I open these up. This will get you started straight away on using that page set. So it'll kind of bring you down through, you know, the information about it, the multimodal strategies, the life participation approach to aphasia. So again, communication partner strategies. So these are really, really good for people that maybe family members, etc., that are working with somebody with aphasia for the first time. So they might not always be a therapist. So there's lots and lots of resources here to kind of help them understand how to use this software with them. So again, you know, we have these broken down into, you know, the core first. You'll see we go into core first. There's help and training videos, knowledge-based and frequently asked questions, documents and downloads and documentation. So we have training cards for that as well. So again, we can look at the training cards just for the core first page and not for aphasia, and we can go through that and it'll show you how to edit and, you know, set up your software, etc. So also on our YouTube channel, on the SafeCare Technologies YouTube channel, we have the ham sandwich sessions for Snap Core First, or TD Snap as it's now known. So that'll give you all kind of training on how to get up and running, and so they're all very short videos that you can go through. So again, we'll send you the links to this after, just showing you how to kind of find some of these resources. And the last thing I'll show you on our website, if you go to support, you can see AAC support for professionals. So this isn't strictly for TD Snap, but it's just for if you're a therapist and you're new to AAC and you're new to using communication software, we've kind of set up these resources to kind of help you along. So it's set in different steps. So deciding to pursue AAC with a client, what is AAC? We have pre-AAC assessment resources. So if you're bringing somebody in for you know, for an assessment, we've got some of these screening tools, you know, a needs assessment. So again, you can get all these for free on our website. If you decide then that maybe AAC is the right way forward for this person, you know, how to trial a device, so you can, you know, book a trial from ourselves. So we'll send you a device with the software, and then we have these resources while the trial is going on, you know, tips for a successful trial, data sheets if you're working with pediatrics, or a data sheet if you're working with adults, showing you videos around modeling. So again, all these resources are there to kind of help you along, you know, as you're maybe starting an AAC journey with somebody. So again, how to buy a device, you know, what's the process for buying it? Can you request a quote? You know, you can book a call with us. We can talk things through with you, see, you know, what the different options are for your client. And then after that, if you have the device and you're set up, look, it's not just a matter of us delivering a box and, you know, off you go, hope you get on well. We like to kind of follow you in that journey. You know, as I said, we have that knowledge base, we have those resources. You can book in with ourselves, and, you know, we'll kind of do follow-ups with your clients to see how they're going. So look, just again, I know I'm going a little bit over time. You can come back to us on any of this stuff. You know, if you want to book calls or training sessions with us, we'll talk you through kind of the process and how you go. So so that's pretty much it. In a lot of information in a very short period of time. So look, you know, as I said before, follow up with us. We'll do more training with you. You know, we'll come to your school or your center or whatever, and we'll get you up and running, and show you how to implement TD Snap.